So, I want to get this Palo Santo going, clear out these energies. Okay, I want to thank my ancestors, you know, the ones that are positive. I want to thank my spirit guides. I want to thank my higher self. I want to thank Sophia. I want to thank the Great Mother. I want to thank the Christ energy, or Christos Negros, for this is just like clearing all this area out. And I also want to ask that a circle of protection be created around this for mental clarity, spiritual discernment, and that's pretty much it. I'm straight. That's the bell. So that was a confirmation. Ashe. All right, let's get going. All right, so I don't know how many people are going to see this video. Therefore, I'm going to give a little introduction. It could be nobody. It could be a bunch of people. Based on my current videos on YouTube and on here, it could go either way, and I don't know which way it's going to go. So I'm just going to say a little disclaimer. I would much rather be working with clients. I would much rather be doing tarot reading and channeling and clearing people's energy field. I don't typically do decoding, even though I've been on a decoding sort of kick lately. But I'm just following basically what Spirit is asking me to do. Because I've done so much work, and especially with dream work and symbolisms and things like that, since I was a little girl, I've been writing down my dreams. That's a form of decoding, and that's learning how to really decode your reality and decode your own mind. Then you can start looking outside and being like, okay, that means this means that. So as we get into our path, or more of a spiritual place, and we start dealing with spirituality, we will start decoding our reality. We have to understand, before I start too, I just want to say that symbols can be used in either a positive way or in a negative way. The symbol is just that. Hey, what's up? The symbol is just that. It's a symbol. It's empty until you give it meaning. So symbols can be used in a positive way, or symbols can be used in a negative way. I put the blog post there for you guys in the chat. If you have a laptop, pull it up, because the pictures are in the blog post. I'm going to be posting this on YouTube. So for YouTube, I will have it down in I'll probably have it down either in the description or in the pinned comment, so that you can kind of go along with it. It's very long, so I mean, you have to have some sort of stamina to really get through everything. But I'm going to go through some, because there was even more symbols than what I described in the Black is King thing. So there was even more symbols than what I put here. I kind of just put the main stuff. The reason why I named this Soul Trapping Edition is because everything in this came back to soul trapping, and I noticed that a lot of it the uses were an inversion of sacred symbols and cultural symbols. Like, for example, they had the RGB flag there. That's an inversion of a cultural symbol. So I got my laptop here. I'm going to go down. Oh, yeah. Cosmic gang. Whole lot of gang shit. Ninth dimensional strange shit. We are in the motherfucking building today with the Beyonce Black is King Soul Trapping Edition Decoded. Let's get into it. Okay, so I want to start with the drama, and I didn't I might have to put a post up about who Beyonce's executive producer is, because the executive producer is the one that holds the bag, and she is not the executive producer on even though it comes out of her company. She's not the executive producer, so she's not the one making the final decisions on this. I just want to make that clear. The drama. Right, the drama. We got to get into the drama first. Some Epstein files have been leaked. I can't say whether they, the Epstein flight logs. I can't say whether, so for Pedo Island, I can't say whether this is, made up or whether it's real, because people are saying it both ways. I think that it's real, especially depending on what I'm seeing, and I think this woman has never had any freedom really in her life. She's been put up as a symbol But I mean, you have the elevator incident with, and when I watched the video over of the extended version of the elevator incident, you actually see Beyonce's sister kick her leg and hit Beyonce, and you would think somebody, and Beyonce was kind of pinned up against the wall, and you would think somebody would move, but she didn't move. She just stood there like a zombie, and because her sister was going to kick Jay-Z, and I think it was a fight over who would be her handler, or over some sort of decision or something. So this woman is very controlled, and then she's been touted as this power of the divine feminine and of a powerful woman. Why is a powerful woman being controlled by men so much? And then she like worships her husband, which there's nothing wrong with that. You know, you should honor your partner, but it should be more, he doesn't do the same for her. He doesn't have the same reverence. You know what I'm saying? It's very unequal, almost like she's how people are in a cult or something like that. So I find that kind of odd. And then we also had the incident at the basketball game with her sitting on the sidelines where she was kind of like dazed out, and everybody was like, yo, what happened to her? Now, if you go to BitChute and type in MK Ultra, you'll learn about celebrities and stuff, how they look and how they get stuck like that. Even Cardi B had it happen to her at least once. She's a little stronger though, spiritually, but you'll see how people, how they kind of like zone out, or they'll just pause. But like that, but for like a long time, like it'll be uncomfortably long, and it's like they get these glitches. And a lot of people have said, oh, that's just because celebrities have to deal with a lot of stress and stuff, and then that's just them shutting. No, that's fucking straight MK Ultra. If you go and do your research on it, and you do like the Monarch programming and Project, it was Project something, I don't remember all the details because that's not really my thing. So then now there's that, and a lot of people were on Beyonce's page on Instagram, and I posted a clip of it on my Facebook, just putting pizza symbols and shit. A lot of Africans and people from Africa were really mad because they were like, yo, we don't just wear tribal paint and twerk and be poor. Because you put a lot of poor people in there, and it was sort of almost disparaging. Like it's like they think black people are so dumb and so easily controlled and easily manipulated, because what they're doing is manipulating you emotionally. And I just find it very disrespectful, because the brothers and sisters that I know are not stupid. They know when somebody's trying to take advantage of them. And I mean, this fucking thing, watching this, gave me the biggest headache. I had a headache. I had to lay down after, like I literally, and I didn't even lay down. I just would meditate for a few minutes, stretch a little bit, and then I'm like, okay, I gotta take more screenshots. Like, it was fucking crazy. So that's why I left my Cash App, EmpressisabelMontero. This was almost 20 hours of work, so I would really appreciate a donation for it. Obviously, I'm not doing this for money. I'm doing this because I care about souls. But, you know, if you like this breakdown, if it resonates with you, if it's something that you're happy got out to the public, you know, leave a donation. Okay, so let's get into it. So we start off with this scene, right, with these guys with this African mask on, chest, and then they're wearing these weird pink like tutus that look like you know, the Hawaiian deities or whatever, that wear the straw, it looks like a straw skirt or something, or like a straw, you know, thing, but they're pink and purple and sparkly. So I was like, that's kind of weird, but okay. But they kind of have looking like the sky. Okay, so Beyonce's narrating, and she calls these the great kings were here long before us, ancient masters of celestial love. And I found that like disrespectful, because I'm like, you're calling these guys the gods of earth or ancient masters, and who are these fucking people? You know what I mean? And they're men, but they're men with sparkly little girl things on them. It's just weird. So I said, although dark matter is mentioned at the very beginning, the theme of the masculine being the creator and us coming from him as a programming is held throughout this production. I find this very curious, because men on earth don't come from men, they come from women. Women carry the XX complete chromosome, while men are born of the feminine by carrying the XY chromosome. So truly there's no masculine or feminine, everything is emanating from everything else. That's what we understand about source. So when you see XX and XY, we just know that masculine is just simply an aspect of the feminine. So whatever is masculine truly is feminine. And it's just that source was like, you know what? I wonder what it would be like to have a reflection. I wonder what it would be like to have a mirror of myself. So this is how the masculine came into being. And this is why too, if we do want to come to Earth, or because I believe really the cycle of reincarnation is breaking down big time at this time. But if we do want to come to Earth, we can choose a masculine or feminine body depending on what our essence truly wants at that time, like what experience we truly want. So these characters in the beginning, I call them, they're archons. I mean, there's no other way to describe it. The way they come out of the sky, the way they're always around this little boy, and we're basically doing the soul journey or the soul trapping of the starseed. This pisses me off a lot because the soul trapping of the starseed is what they're really going for at this time. This boy comes from beyond space, beyond Earth, beyond these Elohim, fake Elohim, and beyond these fake fucking rulers. They're fucking archons. They're the demiurge, right? And he comes from beyond that. But meanwhile, they're the masters of celestial love. Get the fuck out of here. Masters of celestial love. They're the motherfuckers trying to hold up the firmament at this time, and it's breaking down. Like, please. Richard said, man sacrifices love for power, and women sacrifice power for love. She should not be the one worshiping him. Yeah, inly. I agree with you. So then there's this whole thing with the kid's birthright, and we'll get into that later. But when the father, and the mother is never mentioned, by the way, for this kid. We don't know who his mother is. He has no mother, apparently. And then in the beginning, too, Beyonce's on the beach wearing, like, black. And I go into this, too, in this. She's trying to represent the first primordial mother. It's just, like, so much ego. So then we get into the part where the kid goes through his first temptation, right? And in this scene, we see the same archons we saw in the beginning with the purple and pink straw thing on, and these black straps with little diamonds on it initially, and then the African mask that they have on. So I don't know where in African culture they do this, but I'm pretty sure it exists nowhere because men are not wearing shit like this. So this is just like men wanting to be women. That's showing you the mentality of the demiurge or of archons. So in this scene, the little boy gets trapped in jealousy and desire. The whole song is about jealousy and money and materialism. I said when we research Atlantis, we come across stories of a time when souls could not materialize, could materialize the body at will, and we're not trapped in the body. And we're never told of this history. We're never told that we don't have to be trapped in our bodies. We're never told that scientists don't know why the body decays and ages. We're never told any of this. Meanwhile, you're all gonna see this shit gets way deeper. It's the sensual desires of flesh that trap souls and bodies. And it's not that it's a bad thing to be sensual and to be in your desires, but when you are having sex or having sexual desires that are in a lower aspect or lower nature, that's when you get trapped, because it creates a heavier density, and you're not light enough to be able to come in and out of your body at will. So all of us at this time are on our way to ascension, so our bodies are getting lighter, which is why we are having so many DNA activations. The center. Okay, so the boy is accompanied by these archons as he loses his innocence and becomes trapped by a desire for materialism. Remember that. Next part. Oh yeah, I put him sitting with the archon throwing money, and I put nothing to see here, folks. Just a baby soul being seduced by money while hanging out with an archon. Like, good times. They purposely dismiss a mother figure to keep up the masculine godlike figure they hate that woman is the creator of all life. And honestly, all life, all of creation, they hate that they are her. Like, how could you hate that which you came from? How could you hate that which you are? It makes no fucking sense. And I love how she's toting pan-Africanism and Ifa and you know, Santeria and all this shit. And at the same time, she's not mentioning the mother aspect. She's only mentioning the father. So it's just a weird thing because, you know, black women are going to be mostly tapped into your message, and she adds in the mother and she creates herself as a symbol of femininity throughout this whole fucking production. She creates, and I'm not mad at her, I'm mad at the symbols. I don't care about this person personally. I'm breaking down a work of art that is meant to soul trap people. I care about your soul. I don't give a fuck about her. I don't give a fuck about what she does in her life. I don't give a fuck about what she does. I don't care about her. I don't care about her personal life. I care about this production, which I believe she's really just a puppet in. She's just a figure. So it's not her that I'm directing my anger at. It's actually the symbolism. So she's used as an illusion to make the women feel empowered, like they could be her, like they could be that symbol. Women are often used as a form of disillusion, and this happens constantly. Okay, so then we go to another. I put much of this production. Beyonce is depicted as Mother Mary. In this particular one, she's portraying based on that. So there's one where she's in the middle of both the archons, and she's wearing like silver. And I was thinking maybe it's the sky goddess Nut, but as I researched African deities, it actually came up as the goddess Abriwa from the Ashanti tradition from Ghana. This goddess is supposed to be the first primordial woman. In the story, she's pounding palm nuts in mortar with her pestle. This annoyed her son, and every time she pounded, he moved further and further away from Earth and decided to stay there. What's up, Kali? Ninth dimensional strange shit, cosmic gang, breaking down this bullshit right here. So moved further and further from the earth, and he became the sky god. So then we see how she's trying to portray this primordial woman whose son becomes the firmament. But yet nothing about the great mother is ever mentioned here. They mention her as fucking dark matter, where the little boy comes in. Wait till I break to you guys down the trapping of a fucking starseed. This is what they want to do to your children. Your children who are completely psychic and completely aware in this reality. This is what the fuck this shit is really about. It's about shutting down the younger people and then the older people who are becoming awakened. Okay, so then we have a green man that keeps popping up. Then Beyonce as the first primordial woman. The two fucking archons. I mean, this fucking starseed, this kid is in trouble. Because he's sitting here dancing and shit. And they're just all lined up behind him. I found out that the green man actually represents Ishu. And that the red woman actually represents, Pamagita, which is fucked up, that they're just going to take the gods of the crossroads and just what the fuck ever. Anyway, plus it wouldn't be Disney without a parent dying and with the other one just not being there, because everybody should come from broken homes because fuck the family, right? So I said also notice how these male archons are wearing pink feminine skirts. Super odd, but in the next picture it makes sense because later on in the production they become fucking women. They look like whole women, but they have all these silver shit that looks like tinsel that's covering their faces. This is where it gets kind of deep. I said archons become women. I said in this particular lifetime, because it's going through different lifetimes, the little boy forgets his ancient past and is just living his life. He's partying one night. And by the way, she connects a lot of scenes in this shit to her old videos. So you got to go and decode those too. So in this scene where he's partying, he's got this car that's lit up. At one point, just like in Lemonade, when she leans back, he does the same thing. So, and then partition, whatever, that shit is in here. A lot of symbolism. He's partying one night and he's having a good time with these faceless women. I said, this struck me as odd, and I thought back to how the archons in the beginning had all but disappeared. And then I realized that they changed form, becoming false versions of the feminism. This is tied into with transgenderism. And the thing is transgenderism was something that was an inversion of us taking the divine masculine and feminine within ourselves and being able to be one, being able to be whole. Instead, it's like, okay, people are going to start being whole. People are going to start coming together and waking up and realizing that they're not even they're not their body, that they're not any of this physical shit, that they're actually a whole entity, that they're actually a whole being. So you know what? Fuck that. Let's confuse them. Let's create a transgender a fucking agenda and confuse them. And make them look outside instead of looking inside, because what was happening was actually an evolution of our own souls back to wholeness within the self. So these are archons, obviously, are the demiurge, are jealous of women. They want to be women. So that's why you have also such an agenda of men turning into women. They're actually becoming the demiurge, because you got to remember that Yaldabaoth, right? Yaldabaoth, or Gibraltar, hey babe, what's up? Or Gibraltar, as my man likes to call him. That shit resonates with me. I was like, we're gonna fucking go with it. Actually was jealous of his mother. So if these people are operating with a demiurge mentality, then they are going to want to turn themselves into the feminine and be desired by men. And then real women like me, you know, other women out there who are just real women who actually are encasing and are embodying this energy and are on our spiritual paths. We get looked at like, because we don't have all this fake shit going on with us, we get looked at as if we're not shit when we got all the fucking energy. So I'm not going to rant too much about that. But these guys get changed. False versions of the feminine. In the final thing, they totally take the archons away. And also too, I'm gonna get into these ladies more, but I wanna go forward and then we'll take a step back, like, you know, dancing. So then we get to and it's fucked up because they're like, oh, you finally made it, you finally did your destiny or whatever, and then he gives this piece that represents his birthright to his ancestor. They put the ancestor shit in there, so you're like, oh, my ancestors. It's a manipulation tactic. It's a manipulation tactic because they think black people can't control their feelings, and it's fucked up, and it's really a fucking diss to black folks all over America. That's all I'm gonna say. Show them that you're not that. Hey, what's up, Marcus? Show them that you're not that. Show them that they can't control you and manipulate your emotions anymore. Show them that you are not that. Claim your fucking sovereignty. I'm dead ass serious right now. I'm not going to let y'all fucking... Sorry, I'm not going to let y'all... No. You're not having none of that. So he goes up this... He gives his birthright to his ancestor, goes up this shaft, and then fucking reincarnates again. So you're thinking, oh, it's over. He's going to go back to the stars. He's going to go, and you never see him leave the way that he came in. Ever. Never. It ends up being all these cycles of reincarnation into the lower astral realm. That is an illusion as well. Nobody knows that. When you're astral traveling, you're going to, if you're in the lower astral realm, all fucking illusion. It's all part of this demiurge shit. It's all one fucking thing. So it's all soul trapping. This whole shit is just pure soul trapping. So then the archons get removed even as the women, and they become a system where he's going up this shaft towards the light. And Bobby Hemmett talked about this. This is the false astral light. This is a false astral light, that they're going up the shaft to the false astral light. And then you go in there, you go towards the light instead of the darkness where your soul is, where that's primordial, the light came from, and you fucking reincarnate. And that's exactly what this motherfucker does. Anyway, so I said after, let me see, final archons. So the archons create a system of archons. And then she has the audacity to show elementals and her holding the baby, because this guy reincarnates basically the whole fucking Moses thing. And then the mom is like, oh my God, there's a sandstorm coming, which is Beyonce, because she's Mother Mary, because because she thinks she's Mother Mary, puts the, or whoever the fuck wrote it, put her in that place for that position, which probably means she's going to be sacrificed or something soon, because they're going to build her up to take her down. So they put her in, she's like, oh my God, my baby. And the baby gets put in a basket. But in the Moses story, you know, somebody finds him, he becomes the king. No, in this one, that motherfucker, and they do it so slick that you wouldn't even think of it. It's so slick. That baby done fell off the motherfucking waterfall and died. And then they show him coming in like he was saved into another realm. The thing is, the elemental realm is still the earth realm, but it's just on a different vibration. Like I said, this shit is all soul trapping. Yeah, the shit I wrote about the succubus. Okay, so these, when we see the archons, I already wrote it down. So I'll update this again. I actually have notes on it. But since I already wrote it down, I kind of have it in my head. So these archons, the scene that we see them as women with their silver faces. What's up, Gail? The scene that we see them as women with the silver faces and the silver on actually also represents succubus and incubus. I wrote a whole fucking thing on this, and this shit literally just disappeared. Because it was... fuck, this is fucking me up. Because it was connected in with 777. I mean, with the song 711. And the song 711, yeah, I know. With the song 711 that Beyonce did, it was a sex ritual with a succubus or incubus spirit, like a big one. So that was a sex ritual with a succubus or incubus spirit. And a lot of the words and stuff that she used in there, like being up in the air, I decoded what air meant and all that shit. And this shit is completely gone. I don't know where the fuck it went. I wrote it all down here and now I'm not seeing it. But it's actually talking about the succubus and incubus spirit. And then I found a blog post where a dude was talking about his experience, how he could see what it really was, but his mom just saw a mouse. And the thing is, they usually have faces that are like no face, but with a big mouth. So that's why these entities don't have a face. Oh, thank heaven for 7-Eleven. Yeah, it's a sex ritual that they do. They'll either do 3, 7, or 11 days. So she maybe did multiple rituals with incubus and succubus spirits, and then that song ended in 333. And 333 was a whole different Masonic thing. That's probably why the shit just got deleted, because I went the fuck in on it. I literally can't find it here. I'm looking at my post and I'm like, where did all the shit that I just decoded, like, where did it go? It literally just disappeared. Because it was a lot more than this. Okay, so this is... I can't believe this shit just disappeared like this, though. Alright, we're just going to have to keep it pushing. When I find that shit, I will update you guys on it. But that's basically what it is that song, when it was put out and everybody listened to it, you all gave your energy to Indonesian. This is the Indonesian ritual. What's an Indonesian ritual? I can't say succubus and incubus from the jinn. And jinn can be positive or negative. Like I said, a lot of this stuff can be positive or negative. But what you do is you give your sexual energy, or you marry the jinn. It's a marriage ritual, and then they'll have sex with you, because that's all they want is sexual energy. In exchange, they'll give you like money and riches. She must have been dealing with some very powerful jinn because of the amount of wealth that she got from it. Usually you can't get that much. It'll be enough so that you survive. And usually these entities will wear you out because one person can't handle that much energy. But since she's a celebrity, a lot of people are tapping into her songs, singing her songs, tapping into the music. So that incubus or succubus is actually having access to millions of people. As opposed to it only having access to her, she doesn't really have to do much, because she's like, all right, I'll do this song for you. Boom, now you have access to millions. And so when we watched this, she actually went and put a nod to that by making the faces like that, and that it being a sexual energy in that aspect where the boys like partying with the girls and kissing them and stuff like that. I was like, what the fuck is going on here? Yeah, I gotta find my notes on that, and then when I find my notes, I'll give you guys more information on it. So then we're going to talk about the birthright. Now, the birthright is is represented as a gold king, but check this, the king is supposed to be protecting the queen. Meanwhile, throughout this whole thing, his divine life partner or his soulmate, his queen, he keeps fucking leaving her or dying or whatever. He keeps leaving her because he's chasing his birthright that his father gave him, that his earthly father gave him. So he's getting his soul's really getting trapped, and they're creating all these distractions and stuff so that he never really reaches a place of enlightenment. So one of the first deceptions, this is humanity. And let me see, when Beyonce is narrating, and also the archons are just standing there and watching as the dad is giving him the gold chess piece with the DNA spirals in it. Also, the DNA spirals is it's only 2 spirals. It's not like they're showing you the 12-strand DNA that's fully activated. It's only the 2 spirals. So this is DNA. It's kind of like how your soul, it creates matter. And it's kind of like how your soul's trapped in your body, and it's the DNA that's not completely activated or awakened. If it was real, and if this was really spiritual, it should have been more of an etheric looking piece with the 12 strands of DNA activated. Instead, they only show you 2 because they don't want you to tap into the 12 strand DNA and your full potential. So hey Whitmere Shelby, thank you for being here. Yeah, this shit is crazy. So Beyonce's narrating, and she says this: life is your birthright. They hid that in the fine print. Take that and rewrite it. New soul contracts. New soul contracts. Why the fuck are you taking it and rewriting a fucking soul contract? So this is a manipulation to try and get people, especially all these star seeds and stuff, and baby, we call them baby souls, or like people who are just waking up. They would be considered like our children, like our babies. For people who've been doing this, like myself, you know, I've been in this for about 10 years, and there's been people that have been in it even much longer than me. And then I was always like this even since I was a little kid. You know what I mean? It was just like about 10 years ago is when I really started walking the path and things started picking up for me. So it's manipulating people into a soul contract. Okay, let's see. Into a new soul contract, because the archons are trying to stay here. And they're trying to have us agree. Exactly. So people like you, dear, that's who they're targeting. They want you to look at her and be like, oh my God, she's amazing. Oh my God, like, I'm going to do African spirituality now and stuff. A symbol. What do you mean? Well, it's a soul. Yeah, it could. It could. And also, too, because he is the crown. And he's only dealing with the 2-strand DNA. So that's an aspect of it. But you got to look at the actual thing to, like, decode it. Which I know you saw it, babe. But I don't know. So then we get into... So the realm of the Akashic records. Bay and Jay-Z are watching the little boy on the TV. Even though he's supposed to be in there with them. And it's showing him as a little boy. There's an ancestor or a man behind him banging the drum. So that's like a rhythm. So maybe the man was changing his rhythm. And or trying to maybe even bring him back to like what the real shit is. And he ends up dropping this fucking all-important chess piece that's supposed to be his birthright. Okay. And then there's a lifetime where he forgets who he is. Really, he's just like chilling. But for them, they make it like he forgets who he is. And there's a antagonist that is holding the chess piece and laughing at him, and then an ancestor crawls up on top of the car, and that was the same night that he was hanging out with the succubus incubus spirits. And then also the symbolism from Lemonade when he hangs his head out the window is done in this lifetime. So he gets frightened, and then it shows him playing chess with his enemy or the antagonist in front of the moon. And I wanted to make a point. Yeah, he forgot. Or yeah, well, that's the thing, is his purpose was to be with his divine life partner and for his soul to ascend. The birthright was given by humanity, by his human father. It's actually a form of programming, and it only has a 2-strand double helix DNA, not 12-strand DNA. Plus, to be a chess piece is to be fucking used. So it's in front of the moon, and the moon, some people think that the moon actually is a satellite, or is actually our moon is more created and is used for soul trapping. And I think you come back through the moon when you reincarnate, and that's what gives you the baby brain. It makes you forget your past lives. You have to go through that portal that's up there. And those are the ones that keep saying they're falling for. There's a few of them that woke up with me and are now being, yeah, exactly. They're being rocked back to sleep. So then we see a scene where the dude is, he's on a bench, like a picnic bench, and his foot is in the water. Just the bottom of his shoe is in the water. And then it shows the same scene that Jay and Bay were in the fake Akashic records. This shit has me mad. They even have my nigga Thoth in there. Like, anyway. So, yeah, exactly. This whole thing is just soul trapping. And so when we look at this, so the woman that's his soulmate, she keeps popping up, but it's like he never connects with her. And then at the end, it's a totally different chick in a whole different dimension. He literally, and I likened it to the movie Coming to America, if the prince decided to just stay with the chick that his parents picked, and the whole movie never happened. Like, that's who this chick is. So it's like he keeps having these moments and connections with his soulmate or with his divine life partner, but it never works. Like there's not even really any through line with them. It's like 1 second she's there, then he fucking wanders away. Then she's there again, and then he wanders away. So he keeps missing these connections for this chess piece, for his birthright. And this is a part where it's really clear, because he's like sitting there on the bench, he's in his feelings, obviously, because his bottom of his foot is in the water. She comes, excuse me, she comes up, they're kissing and stuff, and then he drops his chess piece, like he's not focused on his mission, his fake mission, and he leaves his divine life partner, dies after the chess piece, and just dies. He just drowns, and then ends up in another realm. It's just like, are y'all serious right now? And then in the other realm, there's this ancestor, and she's an older woman, and it's messed up, because a lot of us will see, like, I have ancestors that look just like this lady that I communicate with in the spirit realm. So it's messed up to know that people are having that experience, but let's take the experience and invert it and tug on their heartstrings, because their ancestors look like this, and we know that they can see them. It's like messed up. So he presents his birthright to his ancestor, and then obviously he goes to the astral light and reincarnates. So then he has to, in that realm, he has to fight his adversary again, which is why I said it don't make no sense, because then he goes to this other realm, and then the same adversary, he supposedly just, this is the way this guy, it's a whole, it's the Black is King thing, so it's really just a through line for these are certain main symbols. The whole movie is really about just reincarnation, and apparently never going back to source. Just keep reincarnating in different realms. So this is dealing with this guy in his different lifetimes. That's why it sounds so confusing, because it's very abstract, and it's created like that on purpose so that you don't catch these symbols. So then he goes to this other realm that's supposed to be the nature realm. That's supposed to be a higher frequency from 3D, because you have the elementals and stuff there, and we know fairies are in a slightly higher frequency, which is why you can't see them all the time. And this motherfucker sitting here, and now he has to fight the guy all over again to avenge his father, because his dad dies at the beginning. Yeah, there's mad spoilers if you guys wanted to see this bullshit, but like, I hope you don't. So then I noticed something, and if you read the blog post, you'll see it. They're directing people to steer off true spirituality, which is connecting and being with your divine life partner for some people, because you can do more together than you can do alone. And his gift, or what he gets, is a fake divine life partner, or a fake fucking coming to America, the first fucking girl that his parents give him, and a fucking baby. I'm like, what? So the jackal and the lion mythology. Earlier in the video, there's a gold crescent that's like a circle, and it's a jackal and a lion. Then at the end, when he completes his mission and ascends into a fake lower astral realm, he's sitting on the throne with two women beside him, and he has the jackal and the lion. So this is a mythology actually out of South Africa. And there's one that actually resonated with me more because there's two different versions of the story, but it's basically how the jackal tricks the lion, and the lion basically like dies a bunch of times. And it's about being clever and using your mind over relying just on your strength, because your strength will fail you if you're not wise. But the one that, yeah, he never finds out who he really is, and you never see him go back into the sky where he came from. Like, you never see him go back to source. He just keeps getting lost. And then it's like these fake moments of accomplishment, but it's like, yo, you missed the whole point. Where's your chick at, first of all? Where is your divine life partner that was presented to you 3 and 4 times, but you were so busy chasing your birthright, which is a new contract with the demiurge, that you just keep leaving her wherever she's just left in the wind. So then, okay, so there's another one from South Africa that really resonated with me, called the jackal, lion, and man. The jackal is the most important advisor to the king of the forest. The lion begins to boast about his strength. The jackal says to the lion, "See here, lion, I will show you an animal even more powerful than you are." They come across the boy, and let me see where I was. They come across a boy, and the lion asks if he is a strong man. The jackal says no, he must still become a man. Then they come across an old man who has a bent neck and is walking with a stick. The lion asks if this is the strong man. The jackal says no, he has already been a man. Let's see where I was. They come across a young hunter in the prime of his youth, surrounded by dogs. The jackal says, "There you have him, O king. Pit your strength against his, and if you win, you truly are the strength of the earth." Pay attention to that line, strength of the earth. The lion begins to growl, and the hunter sent his dog. The lion is easily defeated. The lion easily defeated the dogs with a few swipes of his paws. The man fired his rifle at the lion. Even this the lion paid little attention to, even though the shot went through his shoulder. Then the man pulled out his knife and gave the lion a few good jabs. The lion retreated, followed by the bullets of the hunter. The jackal asked the lion, "Well, are you the strongest now?" The lion said, "No. Let that fellow there keep the name and welcome. Such as he I have never seen. First he sent 10 bodyguards upon me. They really didn't bother me. But when I attempted to turn to him, he spat and blew fire at my face that burned a little, not very badly. When I tried to pull him to the ground, he pulled out one of his ribs and gave me some very ugly wounds. When I retreated, he sent some very warm bullets after me. No jackal, give him the name." So the name is the strength of the earth. So since the name is a strength, so this man went on a whole mission to just become the strength of the earth when he's not even from earth. He's from source. He's primordial. He's a primordial being. It's all mind control to lock people into the earth. And they know that these symbols are going to resonate with your DNA. So even if you don't consciously remember it, it might be a story that was told down the line back in your... That's why I don't understand who woke up one day and said that there's better, shaking my head. That they're better. Exactly. Like all that. Oh, and sounds like yeah, it could be. Okay. In short, there's a war storming on those with power and enlightenment against us. People want our energy. Yeah. So, the next part. So I was like, whoa. So I said the stole/star trapping. And it basically shows him coming to Earth in the beginning. And he's coming through the firmament. And he's burning up. Like he's coming through the firmament. And then he hits the ground. And when he hits the ground, he sparkles. But she's on a beach and he's hitting the sand. So the sand represents quartz. It represents crystals. Which is how we know that this is actually a crystalline or high frequency being. Because of the symbolism. And then let's take a look at some of the other places that sparkle or lights show up. So when the boy first learns of materialism and is first tempted by materialism, he's actually holding out sparklers. His light was pure. Now the sparklers are looking as the color of fire, and they're actually resonating with the root and sacral chakra. Which makes sense if you look at the symbolism when you're getting lost in materialism. And then you see pits of fire, right? So when we think about pits of fire, that's dealing more with your lower chakras, but it's unbalanced lower chakras. Your lower chakras are not bad, they're just unbalanced. And then you see Beyonce with the lanterns. And the lanterns are supposed to represent being a light in the dark. But I get a funny feeling when I saw this picture, because it's her and a bunch of sisters with lanterns. But it's like their wombs are being used to trap souls. So they're like almost encouraging soul trapping. Not that we shouldn't be bringing high frequency beings down here at this time. We absolutely should. But this came across as weird to me because I was like, I know that this represents in some cultures the light of your ancestors. And this is how you honor your ancestors. But you're doing it when the boy is coming to earth. So I'm looking at it like this has to be a form of soul trapping or trapping the light in a container. And then we see the part where the boy's father dies. We see him being fascinated with the light on the front of a motorcycle. So there was little places where that showed up. And this is right before he reaches the trauma of actually losing his father. So he has no mother. They never mention his mother. And then his father dies in this. And then there's a scene after he ascends into the astral light. But before he gets there, the realm of reincarnation is there. The color of red and sparklers are souls. And once again, they had that yellowish, goldish sort of like appeal. They're not bright like how yes, exactly. But these are different forms of light. It's not pure like it was when he first came in. Seems like a kind of rebirth or almost like another layer of programming. It feels like lifeblood are going through the placenta. So Yonce's gold ring. So we see a room, right? Where Beyonce is dancing and there's gold rings. The gods of the crossroads are in there. Wait till you guys get to this part because I found out some deep shit about all this stuff. So before the boy has a chess match with his enemy for his birthright. I'm jumping all around because these are different symbols. So remember I spoke to you about the chess match he has in front of the moon for his birthright. There's these scenes with these gold rings in them. And I remember that I always thought of, I guess this might come from my ancestors or just my DNA. I always looked at golden rings. I even have a channel called Reincarnation Rings of Time, and I use gold rings. Now I know why I did that. I didn't know that this is what that symbolism meant. It says questioning reincarnation, because I was like, why do we have to reincarnate? Okay, this is after the boy goes to the house that represents the Akashic records, or the halls of Amenti. Okay, so gold rings are supposed to represent spiritual perfection. And being in a dark room could represent the void. This is the positive aspect. I'm going to show you how they inverted it, though. Could represent the void, and you have the gods of the crossroads in there, so it's like unity. It's like life and death are like one. Like there's nothing there. It's the void. So these are supposed to be positive symbols, represents wholeness, unity. You know, you have the male, female versions of the gods of the crossroads. But when we look at the other aspect, because I was like, wait a minute. I was like, they have all this money. If they wanted this to look like a void, it wouldn't have been done in a room, just with the lights off. So I was like, that's weird. Then I started looking up the black cube. and how the black cube is actually connected in with Saturn, and how these fake elites worship Saturn, or worship a Saturn-like cult. Like I said, they take these symbols and they're like, oh, well, we're the only ones. Oh, well, we've been doing, our lineage has been doing this for years. We're the superior ones. We can take the symbols back. They're our symbols. We can take them back. I'm showing you how they're using these symbols for a form of inversion. And if you notice, the rings of Saturn now are dissolving anyway. They go in and out. So that means that we're breaking these cycles of time. Okay. So connected with the cult of Saturn, which have ties in Freemasonry, a lot of Freemasonry symbols. Black robes are associated with the cult of Saturn. So when you graduate, the reason why you wear black robes and a cube, the black cube is a symbol for Saturn on your head, is because you've reached a certain level of indoctrination. I said Saturn in Freemasonry is connected with what was formerly known as the Illuminati or Demiurge. Saturn's element in alchemy is lead. The sun's element is gold. When we think of the purpose of the Philosopher's Stone, turning lead into gold, it is a metaphor for ruling. This is how they inverted it. It's not really what it is. It's actually taking the restrictions and those boundaries and creating expansion and boundlessness. This is how they're inverting the symbols, however. When we think of the purpose of the Philosopher's Stone, turning lead into gold, it's a metaphor for ruling the golden age with the rings of Saturn. So they're trying to reinstate time. Saturn is associated with Chronos, or Father Time. Are we being indoctrinated to be entrapped of the circles of time in this new golden age? I was like, this is resonating way too much. And then I put how the cube, actually, when you unfold it, it looks like a cross. I said, this is the first appearance of the red woman and green man together. It seems like the green man and red woman are now in a dark room in the center of the cube. If these are the gods of the crossroads, their symbol is the cross. When we unfold a black cube, we get the symbol of the cross. This is how it's connected. This is how they're taking ancient symbols and inverting them. They're like, okay, you guys want to use the Orishas? You want to use Ifa? You want to use ancient African spirituality? We're going to take all that shit and make it synonymous with our cult anyway, of Saturn. Anyway. So that you're now worshiping our symbols, our energy. You're giving us your energy for our purpose, for your destruction. I said this is about using the ancient symbols in a corrupted way. The gods of the crossroads being present here is showing a direct correlation with the black cube of Saturn, which is considered sacred to the demiurge and those who are in secret societies wanting power and control over the population. Also, Saturn has been known to be called the Lord of the Rings. That's another reason for that symbol. He is associated with putting limitations on humans, causing decay, which is why we die. I said, till this day, scientists have no idea why the body ages. We are not supposed to age. Aging is not natural. Maybe we're put under some sort of Saturn sort of spell. And then the random RGB new flag, because they put an RGB flag, but they made it look like the American flag with all the 50 states. I was like, man, shut the fuck up. I was like, y'all are trying to have a fake Pangea and trying to fucking have black folks be caught up in a false sense of pride. Like, that shit pissed me the fuck off. Like, they're really playing the fuck out of black folks in America. My brothers, my sisters, you're who I claim. I can't stand for this for you. Not even just for me. It's for you. No. No. Okay, so then we have the symbol of a dead tree. Of course, Beyonce is in front of both of these in pink. So I guess so you can notice them. And notice that she's wearing the same outfit in front of them. But we have her in front of a dead tree and a live tree. So this is passing through the Sifra. He has to go through the underworld or through death to the lower part of the tree in order to get to the upper part of the tree. So it's a tree of death, tree of life. What would look like a dead tree, because a dead tree simply looks like the roots of a tree. So when you look, and I put the picture here, of the world, the symbol of the world tree, and the roots would look like the dead tree, and then and then there's 9 realms. And then I was talking about how I had the dream that I became the sacred bull, and I was going to every realm and waking everybody up. Like I was like a messenger. Like I was running to every realm, and I'm like, you gotta wake up, it's time, you gotta wake up. Like I was running around waking everybody up in all the different realms. And it was just weird that spirit keeps bringing me to things connected into things that I've been experiencing. But so he learns about this, but he's never let out of the tree. We're not ever told that there's something outside of the world tree. It's a world tree. That means that it's one world with different dimensions encased in it, but this isn't the only one. There's many that we can go to and explore and travel. If you're comfortable here, it's okay to be here. If you want to go somewhere else, that's okay too. You're not bound anywhere unless you choose to be bound. And I just don't like how that is so de-emphasized. So then we have the red, and you see a lot. They don't have any energy. They're actually trapped here, and they're even trapped in spaces that are more third dimensional. Because if we rise, and it's not people, it's more like entities. If we rise up, if we raise our frequency, if we get into our soul sovereignty, archons and other non-physical entities, they can't feed on our energy anymore because our frequency is too high. So the frequency on the planet is starting to get higher. So now they're starting to use mass media and stuff like that as a form of programming. If you go watch the movie from Sun Ra, Space is the Place, he actually shows you, it's on YouTube, it's from like 1977, that the demiurge are black people. Whoa, shocker. But it's the soulless being. So there's certain black folks that like, I don't want to say no names because this video won't make it. That are part of HSBUs and the secret societies, and I've been breaking down the fraternities and how you go up certain levels that way, and how it's a whole thing that's interconnected, and it's all for initiations and stuff into different levels of society. So a lot of these colleges, it's funny that they're shut down right now because a lot of these colleges are actually funneling people into certain positions, and it's all compartmentalized. So none of them actually know what the main agenda is. They all think it's just for this one thing that they're doing. And I'm doing this for this. And so they think they're doing something really good, but they don't know what the full story is. So they don't know what the full agenda is. But I'll get into that another time. I have to do a lot of research on that, and it's super hidden, so it's going to take me a minute to get like everything together for that. So the red and blue are Masonic colors, and that's why I know Jay-Z had to have a lot to do with this video, because I really believe he's a Mason at this point. There's no denying it. So we have the women with the blue and red dresses at the wedding, the little boys fighting with red and blue gloves, the 2 men, one's red, one's blue. I said there were Freemasonry. In Freemasonry, blue is considered this, and because the black cube and the Saturn stuff is also an aspect of Freemasonry. Blue is considered the supreme color that belongs to all Masons and no one at the same time. Blue is a color of wisdom, truth, and perfection. Red for them is a color of fire. It's a symbol for purification and regeneration. This is the color synonymous with the regeneration of life. When these colors are fighting, but when these colors are fighting or side by side, it's because they represent life being a process of purification of the soul's wisdom towards truth. But it's sort of like your lower self, the lower aspect of you, and that higher aspect of you kind of fighting, honestly. Because when they're one, they're purple. So it's like, all right, I have the energy to regenerate myself, and now I also have the wisdom. But it's like wisdom and that lower fiery aspect of you are actually clashing and fighting. That's why they always show them fighting, because they don't want you to achieve oneness. Purple is oneness, but they do show in here, so I'll give them some credit for that. But, you know, it's still like far and few in between. I said weird flex, but okay, bae, because she did a purple background on a ladder, and there was a symbolism with the ladder with her hair down to the floor. I believe the ladder is representing either Jacob's ladder, or it's representing the Tower of Babel. Okay, purple also represents the balance of the dark and the light, spiritual gifts, the sacred higher self. Oh yeah, and it also represents, like, that's why we're going up the ladder, to get your higher self. I said this is why the color mostly comes up at the end of this film after the man is about to face his final test. So it's still, like, sketchy. Because it's like, oh, he's finally got to this place where he's achieving this new level of wisdom, but then it's like the same shit in a different dimension. So we also have the seed of life that comes up. After the man's given his golden chess piece to the ancestor, he ascends to this world. It's just a manipulation of these symbols at this point. The seed of life in sacred geometry is a universal symbol of creation, and the number 7. And 777 comes up too. So that's resonating with, like, Aleister Crowley and all that stuff. I would ask Alchemy about that, because she knows about the number 777. Rich, if you're in here, just put a little something about it, because I really didn't, I had so much other research to do, I really didn't look at it too much. Okay, so then we see the little boy being driven by a supposed ancestor. This is when he goes into the Akashic records, and then we see Pamagita and Ishu on the side of the road, the gods of the crossroads. So they represent death. So he's crossing over into a death realm, but it's being toted as a fake Akashic records. It's like the weird, it's like, it doesn't make any sense. So it's like, okay, so going into our own DNA is death. It's such a fucked up subconscious programming. I was like, okay, guys. So he gets there, he starts twinning with Beyonce. And this is where I wanted to throw up. His eyes are constantly covered. And when your eyes are constantly covered, right, you're not getting any sunlight. So this doesn't allow you to activate the pineal gland. Sunlight activates the pineal gland. It's photoreceptive. Also, when your eyes are covered, it's a symbol of not seeing something clearly, or being or of deceit. So it's telling you, they're telling you straight up that this whole world is one of deception. So the world he's going into is one of deception, and he keeps twinning with Beyonce. So there was a part where Beyonce is reading the paper, and it's called The Chronicle. And then she has Stoph next to her. So I said, okay, they're trying to recreate the Akashic records. But I feel like they're energetically creating a false Akashic record. So people go there instead of going to the real one, which is inside of your own DNA. It's inside of your own self. I typically will go in through the Dantian, which is in your womb area, but it's behind the sacral chakra, because the 7 chakras are an overlay over your first 3 chakras, which were just the Dantian, right behind the sacral, your heart chakra, your pineal gland. You don't really need the other ones, but they're good to have just because they deal with different aspects of your life, and where we are at right now, people sort of need like a roadmap to balancing the different areas of their life and in their body, because all those chakras are connected to different glands and all kinds of stuff like that. So I was talking about the music video Partition, and I said the word partition is associated with being divided into parts. So you remember partition? And then if you notice, when she opens the video in Partition, it's the Zeus and lion thing. And the lion is supposed to be a woman, that it's like a woman entity that pretends to be a hurt woman. And then when the hero or the man comes in to help her, she turns into a lion, devours him, and spits his bones to Hades. So there's some weird thing going on with that. But that, y'all can break down that symbolism. I didn't write that in here. But if you notice, the man had the newspaper in Partition. So this is showing her actually, I hate saying this, but she's becoming a handler now. She got into a certain position that now she's going to start being a handler. And the reason why she keeps twinning with the little boy is because she's helping be his handler, or showing that now she can be his handler and she can fragment his consciousness. So each of these ones where you see him different sunglasses or different things where he's twinning with Beyonce, and then he twins with Jay-Z as well, it's showing actually MK Ultra or mind control, and it's showing, it's like they do horrific sexual, physical abuse, emotional abuse, mental abuse. They use drugs, all kinds of stuff to get people into MK Ultra, mind control. If you have BitChute, type in MK Ultra, and if you scroll down, go on DuckDuckGo though. Go on DuckDuckGo, go to BitChute, type in MK Ultra, and videos will pop up about it if you want to learn more, because YouTube has a lot of that stuff censored. But if you go on there, you'll be able to find videos on it and educate yourself. Where was it? And then we see his little soulmate pops up again. Okay, and then they were cleaning their teeth. So, clean teeth, brushing your teeth, typically a symbol of confidence, vitality, wealth, and like the little boy smiling and stuff now, because now he feels like he's learned something. Like, this is a fake Akashic record, so he's supposed to feel like he learned something. Okay, so the Ibis statue that represents the god Thoth, wisdom. I said this is such a disrespect to his true essence and an inversion of wisdom. That's why I said it's like an inversion of wisdom. It's like, oh, you're learning from us. These people are using Thoth to once again point to Mercury, as he was called in Roman times. His original name is Tahuti. So Thoth and Mercury are connected. Also, oh, that's what I was going to say. See, that's why they deleted it. Her song 7-Eleven was released on Thanksgiving Eve. Now this is, and then she talks about drinking and stuff in the song too. It's called the Blackout Holiday or whatever, Thanksgiving Eve, because, you know, everybody gets drunk and stuff. But it was a ritual for it to be released on Thanksgiving Eve, which is also a Wednesday. So that's connected in with this Mercury energy. So, and they're using an inversion of the Thoth or Tahuti energy. I mean, Thoth doesn't care what name you use for him. And it's all connected. It's like that's how she was able to channel that energy to the entity that she married or partnered with, the succubus or incubus. It's going to be a high-level entity, though. It's going to be very strong. And then I had a whole breakdown on 333, because that track is only 3 minutes and 33 seconds long. That's not a coincidence. And it's a whole sex ritual. Okay, more twinning. And then he dresses up like Jay-Z. Twinning with Jay-Z. Has to read a fake Akasha. I said he read fake Akasha in the newspaper and gained some confidence. Now, there was a portion where Jay-Z is actually, you know, Jay-Z in fucking chess. He's actually playing on a chessboard, but there's people outside that are the chess pieces. Do I need to explain this to people? It's a manipulation of dark and light energies for the person who is actually moving the pieces for their agenda. That's why it's kind of fucked up that they only gave him a chess piece on the board. And in here, at one point, the little boy's holding a black chess piece, a king chess piece. The king's supposed to protect his queen. Where the fuck is his queen at, or his divine partner at, the whole time? Hey, sweetie. 3 is Mercury's number. That's what it was. I knew there was something else connected to it. Thank you, Rich. I love you. You really, really helped me with that one. I wrote it all down, and it just disappeared. Like, I updated this, wrote this all down. It just, you know, disappeared. So I have to write it again now. I said, this is basically... Okay, so... Then Jay-Z says this whole spiel. And he didn't even really look like he wanted to be here. But he says this whole spiel. Dark and light duality. The balancing of good and evil. All of this you need to make a move. And understand that good and evil often appear together. Nothing is complete on its own. There is an ongoing exchange between dark and light. This is also to get people to be in a state of duality instead of oneness. What we call good and what we call evil, it's not always a battle, it's a conversation. So cheesy. Anyway, I said this is basically teaching the Hermetic law of polarity and a little bit of the law of rhythm. It's basically learning to understand darkness or evil in the outer aspect, because he's not talking about it within ourselves. All this stuff is projected outwardly. It's not like facing your shadow self, doing shadow work. That would have been positive. But it's just like, oh yeah, the world, whatever. I don't know what this kid is learning from this. other than being MK Ultra and mind controlled and programmed. I don't know what he's supposed to learn from this. And then I said, these chess pieces are moved by an unseen hand. I said, if that isn't pure fake elite symbolism, I don't know what is. I said, these people think they are the ones that are balancing dark and light, like they have the final say. That they have the power to make chess pieces move how they want for their agenda. The chess pieces being totally unaware in different positions in their web of control. I said, where is the sovereignty here? Where is the lesson about how to play chess instead of being played? I said, another thing that is suspicious to me is that the law of mentalism is always left out. The law of, and a lot of people say this wrong. They say it backwards. The law of mentalism states the all is mind and the universe is mental. Not the mind is all, the all is mind. Okay, guys? This is where they're basically similar, but you have to think that a word switch, sometimes you got to go ahead and figure out what in the reference actually changes if you switch a word around. I said this is an imperative law because it teaches us unity within our own selves. I said these symbols I said these symbols tied all together point to nothing more than elaborate soul trapping. This keeps us trapped in a reality where mysterious gods exist and continue to influence humanity into polarity in order that low vibrating emotional states allow the feeding of life force energy. Yeah, they super desperate. I'm surprised you guys stayed. Then we have more twinning, and then I went through the whole thing with the sunglasses. This was interesting too because they put picture of Frederick Douglass Jr. in here. And then it was above Jay-Z and Beyonce's head. And then, in New York, I think some people took down his statue or whatever in upstate New York. So they, once again, trying to pull on the heartstrings. Trying to, get black people to be deceived through emotion. More manipulation. But if you notice, when Jay-Z and Beyonce are looking into the TV and they're having a TV dinner, and the little boy and little girl are actually having a dinner at a big table, a long table though, which is separating them, and they're supposed to be together this whole time. Like that's the real story, is how do we manage to separate these two? And that are divine partners. That I say divine life partners, they're like twin flames, they're like soulmates, and they're just separated the whole time. So, but if you notice, in this part, Beyonce has sunglasses on and Jay-Z doesn't. And I don't know whether that's on purpose or not, but it would mean that he's her handler. Like, he can see and he's not deceived, but she's deceived. And she can't see clearly. And I was talking about her odd devotion to him. That's kind of like being mind-controlled. Then I talked about Frederick Douglass, and I said I won't disparage him. I said... I didn't really say anything about him, but I said this being there, it just seemed like another manipulation. Okay, they said this too, which was pure programming. When they said this about history right at the beginning of this, they said history is your future. One day you will meet yourself back to where you started. So now, putting through all the symbols that we went through already, history is your future. Oh, I don't see the kid going back into space where he came from, or, above the firmament. I see him dealing with the same situation over and over again, even in different astral realms. So, it was just like frustrating. History is your future. One day, you will meet yourself back where you started. And then, like, African drums play. Like, what the fuck is going on here? Like... It's manipulative. It's manipulative, and it's cultural appropriation for Africans, actually, because it took a lot of different symbols and different African stories and stuff, and styles and ways of doing things, and everything was just totally inverted. She even had the big hat on that represents the pineal gland. Like, she didn't even know that that's what it represents. She was just like, right, yeah, I'm just gonna wear this, and it's like, you're not fit to wear that. Your pineal gland is not activated, obviously. But it's not even really her. Like I said, she's just mind controlled. Oh yeah, she makes herself Mother Mary. See, I don't know anything about Frederick Douglass, which is why I didn't say anything in here. But if he is a traitor or whatever, then maybe that's why they put it in there like that. And I've even seen pictures of him being white, which I thought was kind of weird. And it's just showing it's weird because even on the History Channel, when they showed Christopher Columbus, he was a Moor with like a black guy with like a beard, but they showed it in a different country. But in America, they show him as a white guy. So it's all very odd, honestly. So I said at the end of the day, I had so much more information that just like disappeared, like literally isn't even here right now. Do you guys have any questions or comments or anything like that while I just scroll through this whole thing? Mostly it was the stuff about Saturn that disappeared. Everything else is still here. Not sure how he is. Yeah, I would need to be educated on it as well. So I'm not going to speak on something like I don't know about. All right, I'm going to pull you guys up. This phone is hot right now. Hot. I'm going to close my laptop. There were also other symbols that were interesting. Like they had a part where they were doing like a debutante ball. And the debutante ball, I think it's supposed to be like a Peter Pan kind of thing. Because there's a part where all the girls are in a circle and there's a girl sitting in the middle, but her shadow is actually facing the other way. Like in Peter Pan. Remember his shadow just like moved around whenever it wanted to? And then it would show darkness coming over them. And then there was a part in there too where all the little girls were like sleeping like this. So I was like, is this like a shutdown of the inner child? Like, I don't understand what they're trying to do with this. Because all the little girls are sleeping and they're only waking up to be in this debutante ball. And it's supposed to be like a story about sisterhood and about, women coming together or whatever. But it just seems like, well, at least starting to point to use as a teaching tool like for children. I don't know what you mean by that. Elaborate. I'm not sure. All I know is they never talk about his wife of color. And it wasn't until he moved here that he started moving different. It's the reiteration of being trapped, staying trapped in this realm. I don't know nothing about Frederick Douglass. I haven't done the research on it. If I knew about it, I would talk about it. I don't know though, so I ain't gonna say nothing about it. But that's basically what the breakdown is on the main stuff. There's a lot more symbols in there though. Like way more symbols. Because I didn't break down the ball. Damn, there was a lot. I didn't break down the number 083. That number came up on a truck. I didn't break down the part with Pharrell where the women were dancing in the forest down the river. I guess they were doing, it feels like the Nile or something like that. There was a lot more symbols. But I couldn't do it anymore, guys. It gave me a headache. Like, I literally was like, I can't do this. It's giving me a headache. So I did what I could. I gave you guys my version of the breakdown. At the end of the day, what ended up happening was the dude's soul got trapped right back. Like, he never went back to where he was really from. And he never went back to where he was from. He went through MK Ultra mind control programming in a fake fucking Akashic Records world. Then he never connected fully with his twin flame. And when he reincarnated, he just got a false title because he would do anything or anything that he was directed to do by other people or other entities for this little chess piece, which is a soul contract that's that's basically his birthright, which is a soul contract to keep him locked into this reality.